promoting dialogue.
It's 6 p.m. in Dakar, 7 p.m. in Niamey. Good evening and welcome to Newslink on West Africa, Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM Dakar and worldwide at wadr.org. Here are the top stories. Benin's former President Boni Yayi and son Chabi resigned from opposition Democrats Party. Nigeria bans alcoholic beverages in small packages to curb underage drinking.
Impact on health, brain development. Alcohol can damage the hippocampus memory center in the brain.
Teachers' unions in Niger denounce delay in salary payment, and a French court grants partial approval for extradition of wanted Senegalese businessman Jain.
For us, it is a partial victory, as it shows that our arguments were partially upheld.
Please stay with us for details of these stories and more.
On the news, this is Augustine Bill Coley.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast. We begin in Benin, where the country's political landscape is experiencing a major shift as former President Boni Yayi and his son Chabi Yayi resigned from the opposition Democrats Party. The decisions have sparked questions, including speculations and political maneuvering across the country. For now, the real reasons for these two resignations have not been revealed. Sankule Janko tells us more.
The announcement of their resignations was published on Facebook this Wednesday by Gay Mitokpe, the party's National Secretary for Communication. His son's resignation was confirmed first. Chabi Yayi, who held the position of Secretary for External Relations for the Democrats Party, reportedly submitted his resignation letter to the leadership this Wednesday. The precise reasons for his departure are not yet known. Additionally, the resignation of Boni Yayi himself, founder and president of the major opposition Democrats Party, was announced the same day by Gay Mitokpe via his Facebook page. According to sources close to the matter, the former Beninese president announced his withdrawal from the Democrats Party for health reasons. In a letter addressed to the party, he stated his intention to dedicate this new phase of his life to rest. The party leadership is now entrusted to the vice president and governing bodies until the next Congress. These two resignations come after several months of internal turmoil that culminated in the party's exclusion from the presidential race. It should be noted that the National Autonomous Electoral Commission, SENA, rejected the Democrats' candidacy because of an insufficient number of valid endorsements. The opposition party, which is not represented in the new legislature, has been weakened in recent months by a wave of internal resignations. 3 vice presidents and 6 members of parliament from the political party have left their positions. These resignations come 6 weeks before the presidential election of April 12, in which the party will not participate.
A report from our Cotonou correspondent Aziz Adam Sule voiced by Sankule Janko. Still in Benin, complaints are mounting regarding the detention conditions of major opposition leaders. This comes as Benin's President Patrice Talon is less than 4 months away from the end of his term. The lawyers for his former defense minister, now an opposition figure, Kandi Azanai, are raising concerns about the harsh conditions of his imprisonment. A few months ago, the defense team for opposition leader Rikia Madugu expressed concern about a critical health condition. At the moment, the Beninese government has not commented on the statements made by Kandi Azania's lawyers. We will bring you details of this development later in the news. Elsewhere in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, West African leaders, experts and civil society representatives are meeting to discuss the future of ECOWAS. The 4-day conference, which began on Tuesday, aims to chart a new direction for the sub-regional body over the next 50 years. In his opening speech, the Ivorian Minister of African Integration, Adam Andoso, declared that economic integration in the region has not reached its full potential. Imo Edit reports.
In 2024, trade among ECOWAS member states made up just 5.7% of the region's total trade, a figure that has remained below 15% despite decades of integration efforts. Ivorian Minister of African Integration Adama Dosso says persistent non-tariff barriers, fragmented markets and over-reliance on raw materials continue to slow progress, limiting ECOWAS' ability to absorb global shocks. It therefore advocates a 5-point reform plan, starting with the completion of the ECOWAS Common Market. Dosso also called for the removal of non-tariff barriers along 10 strategic trade corridors, including the Abidjan-Lagos and Dakar-Bamako routes, supported by increased digitalization of customs systems. To drive regional industrialization, the minister underlines investment in 4 sectors: agro-processing, textiles, pharmaceuticals and renewable energy. Speaking at the opening session, Mohammed Ibn Chambers, head of the task force on the trade liberalization scheme, recalled the founding vision of ECOWAS 50 years ago. He cautioned that global trade tensions, climate shocks and rising debt pose serious risk. As talks continue, officials and representatives at the Abidjan conference say ECOWAS must move beyond protocols and paperwork to become a true engine of inclusive growth in West Africa.
Imo Edet reporting there. We turn to the Central Sahel region, particularly Niger, where the Education Sector Union Coalition is denouncing the delay in payment of back wages for contract teachers. According to the unions, some of the teachers have not been paid for several months. This situation is generating serious concerns among the teachers, who complain that the payment delay is affecting their families' livelihoods. Usma Umar completes the story.
The teachers' unions have threatened legal action if their back wages are not paid. In a statement, the Dynamics of Education and Training Sector Unions, which represents around 30 organizations in the sector, describes the current situation as intolerable. According to a union source, payment delays have turned into arrears. Contract staff who are not yet classified as civil servants have reportedly been waiting for their salaries, sometimes for as long as 3 months. The unions are also highlighting a sense of discrimination, as contract teachers make up a significant portion of the teaching staff in Niger. As a result, they are demanding payment of their overdue wages. Last year, Nigerian teachers' unions organized several strikes across the country, demanding timely salary payment and better working conditions. In January this year, following the filing of a new strike notice, the Nigerian authorities approved the recruitment of more than 11,000 contract teachers into the civil service.
Usma Umar with that report.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Meanwhile, in Burkina Faso, there will no longer be festive celebrations to mark International Women's Rights Day. No more gatherings in open-air restaurants, bars or nightclubs to dance the night away. Instead, the government plans to bring women together around initiatives aimed at strengthening their economic empowerment. Let's join Abdullahi Hassan for more reactions.
Until recently, March 8 in Burkina Faso was mainly marked by music and dancing. But the authorities have now adopted what they describe as a more ambitious approach, focusing on the construction of production and processing facilities for local products, the creation of market gardens for women, and the organization of a special day highlighting the role of women as peace builders. Burkinabe entrepreneur Aminat Hasinka has welcomed these initiatives while also suggesting additional areas for reflection.
Does a woman who is an entrepreneur have the right to maternity leave? Yet, a woman who is a civil servant is entitled to maternity leave. Land issues in Burkina Faso concerning women are somewhat complicated. Today, we would also like women to take an interest in agriculture, to lead petitions, to take action to encourage the government to pay attention.
Rasmata Komfo, president of the association La Page de la Inclusion, believes other challenges facing Burkinabe women should also be addressed under this new approach by the authorities.
We do not get training. The real role of women in Burkina Faso, we often think that it is the man who must go out in the morning and bring and provide for us. And we are also supposed to stay at home, cook, and have children. Everything has become very expensive in Burkina Faso anyway. Many women are not enrolled and many are left on their own, who do not even know how to do anything for themselves.
This year in Burkina Faso, International Women's Day is being observed under the theme Building Sustainable Peace in Burkina Faso, What contribution can women and girls make to the promotion of social cohesion?
A report by our Ouagadougou correspondent Martin Kaba, voiced by Abdullahi Hassan. Elsewhere in Nigeria, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is implementing a ban on the production, distribution and sale of alcoholic beverages in sachets and other small packages. The Nigerian government says the move aims to curb underage drinking and promote public health, even as stakeholders weigh in on its anticipated impact. Our Abuja correspondent Yechenu Sasetu reports.
NAFDAC says the ban is part of efforts to reduce easy access by minors and restrict harmful consumption patterns, particularly among young people. The agency maintains that the move will also support broader public health objectives, including reducing alcohol-related injuries, addiction, and social harms that often begin with early exposure. Director General of NAFDAC, Mojisola Adeyeye, explains that small pack alcohol products have been identified as a major contributor to underage drinking, given their low cost, widespread availability, and appeal to youth.
Why are we so concerned in NAFDAC? Because our mandate is to ensure that we protect the health of our people, including children. Impact on health, brain development. Alcohol can damage the hippocampus, memory center in the brain.
According to Adeyeye, the ban is intended not only to protect young Nigerians, but also to encourage responsible production and marketing practices within the alcoholic beverage industry. In support of the policy, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Dr. Larry Isa Onilu, says widespread public education and awareness campaigns will be essential to ensure citizens understand the rationale and expected outcomes of the ban.
Early exposure to alcohol significantly increases the risk of addiction and long-term dependence. It undermines educational attainment. It contributes to domestic instability and violence.
Dr. Isa Onilu adds that behavioral change communication will be critical to shifting societal attitudes around alcohol consumption, especially among young people and vulnerable populations. Since the ban, there have been several protests, with industry stakeholders advocating a framework that balances health objectives with economic realities and allows time for industry adaptation. For WADR, Yechini Sasitu in Abuja.
Now to legislative matters. The National Assembly of the Gambia has begun deliberations on the nation's Investment and Export Promotion Agency Amendment Bill 2025. The legislation is intended to modernize the Gambia's investment framework, attract responsible investors, and create more employment opportunities. Trade Minister Mudok Sise presented the bill to lawmakers on Tuesday in Banjul. From Banjul, WDR's Sandona Mendy reports.
In his address, Sise highlighted the strategic importance of the GAIPA Amendment Bill 2025, describing it as a key policy instrument to improve the Gambia's investment atmosphere.
The bill seeks an alignment with national and regional priorities in order to ensure consistency and green revolutionary focused national development plan, the African Continental Free Trade Area after Protocol on Investment, ECOWAS treaties and other international best practices in investment promotion and facilitation, promotion of sustainable development in order to integrate social, economic and environmental sustainability objectives.
The bill also includes provisions on sustainable development standards, corporate social responsibility and youth employment.
The amendment of the GAIPA Act will also improve balance between economic growth and sustainable development imperatives, including environmental protection, gender equity, and youth employment creation. The proposed amendment to the GAIPA Act 2015 are therefore essential to reposition the Gambia as a competitive, resilient, and sustainable investment destination.
During the debate, lawmakers emphasized the need to position Gambia businesses to benefit from opportunities under the African Continental Free Trade Area. They warned that without support in areas such as finance, technical training, and export, local entrepreneurs could struggle to compete regionally. At the end of the sitting, the bill was referred to the Assembly Business Committee for further scrutiny and possible amendments before returning to the plenary for committee review and third reading. For Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, I am Sangdana Mendy, reporting from Banjul.
The Open Society Foundation is denouncing the arbitrary detention and denial of entry of its managing director of programs, Brian Kagoro, by authorities in Kenya. In an official statement posted on LinkedIn, the foundation stated that no formal charges were presented and no written reasons were provided to him. According to OSF, Kagoro was held for more than 10 hours upon arrival at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi and questioned by national intelligence officers. He was subsequently denied entry and returned to Johannesburg. The foundation maintains that its managing director for programs has never been charged with or convicted of any criminal offense. The removal order authorizing the air carrier to ferry him back to South Africa cites Section 54 of the Kenya Citizenship and Immigration Act of 2011, which pertains to documentation-related offenses. However, OSF also rejects allegations circulated by certain media outlets that Kagoro was involved in financing or coordinating political unrest in Kenya. You are listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM Dakar and online at wadr.org. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Benin's former President Boni Yayi and son Chabi resigned from opposition Democrats Party. Nigeria bans alcoholic beverages in small packages to curb underage drinking. Teachers' unions in Niger denounce delay in salary payment. Still ahead in the news, a French court grants partial approval for extradition of wanted Senegalese businessman Jain. We also have guest interview and sports. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Many thanks for being with us. As a reminder, we are streaming live on YouTube at WADR and on Facebook, WADR English Service. A Senegalese businessman and media executive wanted by the government has appeared before court in France, where he is currently in exile. Majaban Jan appeared before the Vesele Court of Appeal over an extradition request filed by the Senegalese government several months ago. The court on Tuesday handed down its verdict, which favors both the state of Senegal and Jain, who is wanted for several offenses, including money laundering. Christopher Atichu has the rest of the details.
While the various courts partially authorized Majamba Jain's extradition to Senegal, it also rejected some of the charges brought by Senegalese authorities, declaring them inadmissible. The media owner is accused of fraud and money laundering linked to contracts between two private companies and the Senegalese state. If the extradition must proceed, Senegalese prosecutors will only be allowed to try Majamba Jain on the charges upheld by the French courts, which were not stated. Vincent Brencarth is one of the defense lawyers.
For us, it is a partial victory, as it shows that our arguments were partially upheld. However, we had hoped the investigating chamber would go further and issue a fully unfavorable opinion on Mr. Derin's extradition. The legal battle is therefore continuing. We have just filed an appeal in cassation against the chamber's decision, and it's now up to the Court of Cassation to rule on the legality of that opinion.
Majamba Jain was indicted in a report by the National Financial Intelligence Processing Unit known as CENTIF. The report points to suspicious financial flows estimated at 21 billion CFA francs in connection with a 250 billion CFA francs contract awarded by Senegalese Ministry of Finance to the French firm Ellipse Project International. Diplomatic tension between Paris and Dakar intensified after the French government declined to approve Jain's extradition. In response, Senegal's Ministry of Justice moved to cancel the 1960s bilateral extradition agreement between the two countries. At the time of filing this report, Senegal has yet to issue an official statement on the matter.
Christopher Aticho fight that report. The Ghana Revenue Authority has confirmed the arrest of 9 officers after the Customs Division intercepted what it described as a major consignment of undeclared tramadol at the Tema port. Those arrested include 5 customs officers as well as 1 officer each from the Narcotics Control Commission, the Ghana Standards Authority, the Energy Commission and the Port Security. WDR's Nadia Tete reports.
In a statement issued on March 3, the Ghana Revenue Authority said officers uncovered 146 million tablets of tramadol hydrochloride in varying strengths, weighing over 34,000 kilograms. The drugs were concealed in a container that had been declared as carrying household items. The shipment, which originated from the United Arab Emirates, had been listed as containing water kettles, kitchen blenders, pressing irons, energy-saving bulbs, and polypropylene materials. According to the GRA, intelligence gathered by the preventive wing of the Customs Division led to the detention of the container on February 20. A joint examination later revealed significant discrepancies leading to the discovery of the undeclared pharmaceuticals hidden among the goods. The importer and the declarant have also been handed over to the police to assist with investigations, while the seized consignment remains under strict customs control. The GRA says the arrest underscore its zero-tolerance stance on illegal import and abuse of public office. It maintains that intelligence-led operations remain critical in safeguarding national security, protecting public health, and preserving the integrity of Ghana's borders. For WDR, Nadia Tete, Accra.
Politics,
Analysis on major news,
social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
The guest interview segment focuses on Benin, where complaints are mounting regarding the detention conditions of major opposition leaders. This comes as Benin's President Patrice Talon is less than 4 months away from the end of his term. The lawyers for his former defense minister, now an opposition figure, Kandi Azanai, are raising concerns about the harsh condition of his imprisonment. A few months ago, the defense team for opposition leader Rikia Madugu expressed concern about her critical health condition. However, concerns are mounting over whether Patrice Talon could ease political tensions by ordering the release of his imprisoned opponents before leaving office. Here are the insights of Benin's political analyst Eugene Alusukbo regarding the situation.
I know that up until now, the courts have not yet ruled on his case. And so, it is only after a ruling has been made on his case after the courts or the justice system in general have ruled on his case that Medleb's fate will be decided by the head of state.
Generally speaking, aside from Candid Azanai, we've heard lawyers for other prominent opposition figures like Joel Aivo and Rikia Modogu also complain about their detention conditions. Can we hope that Patrice Talon will pardon these individuals before leaving office?
It depends on who is involved. You have spoken about Rikia Madugu. You have spoken about Professor Joel Aibo. These are 2 individuals who have been convicted, one to 10 years, the other to 20 years, and with less than 4 months left in his term. Well, he can make a gesture in their favor, or he can choose not to. In any case, the 2 individuals you are talking about could be legacies for the new President of the Republic to manage. It's not so simple because these pronouncements today in the current context with a new President of the Republic about to take power could be a liability, since these individuals could be political obstacles for those who will become President of the Republic. I see the decision as belonging to the one who will succeed Patrice Talon.
Could this also apply to the case of Patrice Talon's former right-hand man, Olivier Boko, who fell from grace after being accused of attempting a coup and sentenced to 20 years in prison?
It's complex. It all depends on the new President of the Republic. You know, the political and financial weight of the one you just mentioned. Olivier Bocon was a lever of the system. He knows how the system works. He has seen the system evolve. When you release him now, the next president of the republic could have difficulties, as if you release him later, it could be more complicated.
What might the Court for the Repression of Economic Crimes decide regarding former Minister Candid Azanai, who is accused of conspiring against the authority of the state and directly inciting rebellion in the wake of the attempted coup on December 7?
I am not part of the court. The court will analyze the charges against Candid Zenai. If there is no evidence against him, I see him as completely free to pursue his commitment. Zenai does not have arguments to defend himself, just as Beninese state could also defend itself. The strongest argument will prevail, and whoever is right will see the sentence pronounced in their favor. In any case, in a system like ours today, we need dissenting voices, but dissenting voices that respect the laws of the Republic and are concerned about the common good.
Do you think Patrice Talon can also loosen the grip and allow political figures in exile to return?
He did it from 2021 to 2026. Those who are in asylum, Sebastien Daivan, the former Minister of Justice, most of them have convictions. Today, it may be decided in their favor. Otherwise, they can come back to the country. These major decisions that impact the Republic belong to the next president of the Republic. But perhaps he won't make them anytime soon because he needs to consolidate his power, establish himself, and gain a foothold before deciding anything.
Benin's political analyst Eugene Alusukpo. Now in sports, Nigeria's Super Falcons staged a commanding comeback to secure an emphatic victory over Cameroon after an early scare in a fiercely contested encounter. Cameroon drew first blood in the 7th minute, capitalizing on a swift attacking move that momentarily stunned the Nigerian side and set the tone for an intense opening spell. However, the Super Falcons gradually found their rhythm and began to assert control. Their persistence paid off in the 32nd minute when Chinwendu Aizuo rose highest inside the box to powerfully head home a well-delivered cross from Rinsola Babajidi, restoring the parity for Nigeria. The 10th time Africa Women's Cup of Nations champions will further intensify training as they hope to defend the title when the WAFCON 2026 kicks off in March. And the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has cleared the Dal Dawa Stadium to host the return leg of the preliminary round of the AFCON 2027 qualifier between Ethiopia and Sao Tome and Principe. Bahiru Talaron, the Secretary General of the Ethiopia Football Federation, says the match will be played on March 31. And that's the latest in the world of sports. With that, we've come to the end of this edition of Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal on 94.9 FM and online at wadr.org. Thank you for listening. Many thanks to Mustafa Sek and Sheikh Njai for the technical support. Do interact with us via our social media platforms, including X, Instagram, and Facebook at WADR English. I am Augustine Curley. Good evening.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Nibe County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Baf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy Radio is all about you, your views, and your opinions.